I see something that I don't understand at all. We're talking about 17 kids in one classroom, and none of them talked about it? We got how many parents in here, and none of us saw it coming? I want to know what happened in that classroom. Why just her classroom? Why only her?
The movie opens in a kindergarten school where the children were going in as it used to be on normal school days. Justine Gandy, one of the teachers, was heading to her classroom. But upon arrival, she found none of her kids in the classroom. However, other classrooms had their kids in them, except hers. She saw only one kid in her class. The night before that morning, something happened. At 2:17 a.m., the 17 missing kids woke up from their beds and ran outside in the same pattern towards an unknown location and never came back. The police were able to tell that the missing kids all headed out at 2:17 a.m. with the tripped alarm when they were heading out. They obtained camera clips showing when some of the kids got out. They invited the kid who remained and his family over for further investigation. He denied every question they asked because he didn't know anything that had happened. They also did the same to Justine, but got nothing. The authorities shut down the school for a month for proper investigations, but later reopened. Before they did, they invited parents and guardians, including the school staff, for a meeting to settle things up. Right in the meeting, a man stands up and questions why only Justine's classroom's kids are missing and not the rest. She started expressing her feelings towards the children that he had nothing to hide. One of the parents threatened her, and the school principal, Marcus, defended her. They quickly escorted her out safely to her car. She was advised to head home straight. She went to the supermarket. A boy approached him asking for cash, but she quickly ignored him and went inside to get herself 2 bottles of tequila. On her way out, she received a call from an unknown caller threatening her. She hung up, went outside, and drove home. At home, someone rang her doorbell, but when she checked, no one was there. She checked through the window, but to no avail. As she was turning back, the bell rang again and frightened her. She yells and steps outside, only to find out someone has printed a write-up on her car. The next morning, she tried to wash it off but couldn't. She went back to the school to meet the principal just to allow her to teach again. The principal refused, insisting she stay out of school for a while due to the angry parents. She requested to chat with Alex, but the principal refused her access. On her way back to her car, all the kids and staff were gazing at her. She was crying in her car, but suddenly, she spotted Alex heading home. Later, she drove to the police department to lay a complaint, but she was distracted when she saw another sheriff, Paul, on the other side. Later that night, Justine and Paul both hung out on a date. And right there, she opened up about someone printing the name Witch on her car. Paul tells her that people are not always thinking about her, and she should go easy on herself. Their conversation shifted warmly, and later that night they got naughty. She lends him a ride off, and in the car, Paul opens up that he's not a detective, but a hungover person. He insisted she should leave the investigation to the investigators. After dropping him off, she drove to the school and waited patiently to have a word with Alex. After the school had rounded up for the day, she followed Alex unknowingly. When Alex got home, the door opened, and he went inside. This makes Justine approach. She rang and knocked on the door several times, but no one responded to her. She went through the back gate, moved close to the window, and looked inside, only to see Alex's parents frozen like statues. What she saw frightens her. She quickly called the school principal and explained what she saw, but he warned her to stay out of their territories. She heads to the supermarket, and right there, Paul's wife, Donna, grabs her, throws her on the floor. She asked her if she had an affair with Paul. She pours the bottle of tequila on her, yelling. That night, she heads to the school calmly. She enters her classroom and finds all the lost kids with their heads on their desks. Suddenly, Alex lifts his face, smiling towards her. She got frightened, realizing it was just a dream. She tries getting back to sleep, and another shadow appears, leaving her totally scared. The next day, she blocks Alex on his way from school, trying to sympathize and talk with him. But he yells at her to leave him alone, then runs off. She went forward to knock at their door once again. No one responds to her. Later on, parks her car at their entrance, insisting she approach anyone who comes out the door. She waited in her car all day until she fell asleep. In the middle of the night, the door opened, and a woman came out of the house holding a knife in her arms. She walks up to the car and enters through the back door. She stretched forward a scissors and cut a piece of her hair. On the other hand, Mr. Graf Ancher, one of the parents whose kids were missing, keeps looking at the footage of their disappearance. That very morning, he heads to his client's site for supervision. The incident at the school affected him a lot. Right there, one of the engineers tells him that some orders haven't been placed, while some are things they didn't need. Graf promised to fix all the errors. He went straight to the police department to meet up with Ed Locke. He explains how they're progressing on the investigation, and soon they will get to the root cause. Graf cuts him short by asking if they are investigating Justine. He proceeded further, saying Justine is a troubled person with what she had in the past. The story was connected in different pieces. That evening, he followed Justine home with 2 cans of paint in his car. Back at his house, he wakes up at 2:17 a.m. and then moves downstairs. The door opened by itself. He moves outside, only to find his son, Matthew, running out just like the footage. He quickly ran after him, but in a moment, he found himself back at his house. A shadow of a gun appeared at the top of his house with the number 217 written on it. He rushed inside. He found Matthew, but in a moment of time, his face changed to another. He wakes up terrified, as it was a dream. That morning, he stepped outside and looked in the direction his son ran toward. He hurried back inside, brought out a map, and started calculating coordinates. He pinpointed one and went to one of the parents' houses that had a similar situation to his. When he arrived, he was denied access to that footage by Gary's wife. He waited patiently outside for Gary. When he came, Graf approached him and told him the situation at hand. He allows him to view the footage, and after a while, he steps outside and begins calculating the point where the kids intercepted. After getting the location, he drove off. On his way back, he spotted Justine heading towards the gas station. He stopped his car and approached her. But right in the middle of their conversation, Justine saw something running towards her, just like the missing kids. Before Graf could notice, the man attacked, trying to kill her. Graf fights it back, but he is too strong for both of them. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Paul received a phone call from Donna, asking him to inform his father, Ed, that both of them will be coming over for their anniversary. He moved outside for his normal patrol. He spotted someone trying to break into a house, and then he quickly went after him with the police vehicle. With severe attempts, he grabs hold of him and walks him to the car. He proceeded further in searching him, but he was impaled by a syringe in his pocket. Seeing the impact of what happened, he hit the boy furiously, then rushed into the car to get the first aid box. He noticed the camera had captured him punching the boy. He quickly disconnects the camera and heads out to meet the boy, telling him not to come around the police department ever again. They both agreed to the terms, then he let him go. He heads back to the department and informs Ed what happened. Ed tells him that the case will be overlooked if the boy doesn't come back in the next month to file a complaint about what happened. That evening, he went out on a date with Justine, and after they were done, Justine dropped him off at his place. He went inside and found out that Donnie was already around. Donnie tries to greet him warmly, but he notices the awkward face and senses something off. Later on, at the station, Paul notices the boy he encountered heading back towards the station. He yells at him and drives after him. This makes the boy run off. This time, he disconnects the camera. Before this incident occurred, James, a drug addict, was all in the woods trying to ease himself up with drugs. Later on, he faked a phone call with a friend, and when he was moving, he attempted to open the parked vehicles, but fortunately, one opened up. He searched the bag he got, took out the things he found, and took them to a shop to sell. The shop owner refused to buy the items he brought despite offering to sell them for lower prices. He attempted to break into an apartment, and that was the moment Paul caught up with him at first. After that incident, he was hovering around when he spotted Alex's house. He hurried to get inside, but couldn't access it from the front door. He went through the back gate and climbed his way up to the apartment. After successfully breaking in, he kept searching until he was frightened by a man and a woman who happened to be Alex's parents, sitting still like a statue. He moves closer to confirm if they are humans, and with no reaction, he heads to the kitchen and packs all their cutlery. He moved to the basement and saw some kids in the dark. One frightens him, so he quickly ran out and closed the door. In a moment of time, he noticed Alex's parents coming towards him. He packed his things and forced his way out. Later on, the shop owner weighed the cutlery with the intention of buying it. James noticed a poster offering a huge reward for whoever could provide information about the 17 missing kids, and these were the kids he saw in the basement. He hurried out and called the police, demanding that they come out, but with no option, he headed to the station himself. And that was when he encountered Paul. He ran as fast as he could and ended up in the woods, where he saw scary things. He ran and hid in a shelter. He picked up 3 syringes, ready to defend himself. In a moment of time, something approached from outside. James retaliated and stabbed it in the face, not knowing it was the cop. He wanted to shoot him, but stopped when James said he knew where the kids were. They got in the car with James handcuffed and drove straight to Alex's house. Paul moves out of the vehicle, leaving James behind. He rang the doorbell, and someone opened the door, and he went inside. James waited for him to come out, but in the middle of the night, he came out working furiously, opened the door, and dragged him inside the apartment. In the chapter of Marcus, he was on the phone with Justine, asking her to stay off from Alex and his family. He tells her that he's going to invite his parents over for talks so that he can know what is going on. The next day at his office, Gladys walked in. He welcomed her warmly while Margie, his assistant, kept looking at her. Marcus insisted on speaking with Alex's parents personally, but she replied to him, saying they were sick. She insisted on knowing the person who laid the complaint, yet he said he can't do that. Later that day at Marcus's house, Gladys arrived at their house without an invitation. She told him she missed the bus, so she had to run down. She requested a glass of water, and Terry allowed her. Inside, she acts strangely, and in a moment of time she asked Marcus to make it a bowl of water. She asked if Marcus had contacted the authorities. After confirming he hadn't, she took out a thorny stick and cut her palm, then requested a rag. Terry hurried out of fear, but when he got closer, she cut a piece of his hair. Marcus picked the phone to contact 911, but she brought out a bell and rang it. Immediately, he went still. Then she picked up Terry's hair, wrapped it around the stick, then snapped it. This made Marcus attack Terry, strangling him and doing all sorts of things to him, even hitting him with his head, until there was no life in him while she was watching. Seeing this works, she throws the stick in the bowl, making him stop and take the hair she cut from Justine's head the other night, wrap it in a different thorny stick, and snap it. He ran out with no stop, heading directly to Justine's location like a weapon locking onto its target. After trying to fight him off, Justine ran into the supermarket looking for a hiding place, and without losing focus, Marcus locked on her. She ran outside, entered her car, but before she could drive off, Marcus broke her window, yet she escaped somehow. He ran after her also. Graf saw this and went after them. But as he was pursuing, a car ran Marcus over, leaving him dead on the spot. Graf left his vehicle to take a closer look. He found out that it was the school principal. At the hospital, after receiving treatment, they discussed the incident that had happened, and their conversation led Graf to show the map he had done his calculation onto her. She noticed the point where the line intersected and informed him that it was Alex's house. Back with Alex in school, he's just a normal kid despite the fact that some of his friends bullied him. After class each day, he will head outside, meet up with his father, and drives home. This was his normal daily routine until his father brought in Gladys to live with them, with the intention that she would return after feeling well again. One day after school closing hour, Alex went outside just as he used to, but this time, his father wasn't there. He waited for a long time. Then he decided to walk home all by himself. When he got home, he saw his parents sitting still like statues. Suddenly, Gladys walked in looking healthy and strong. Alex asked her what she did to his parents, but she said they were fine. He picked up a glass of water and poured it on Lily. Gladys commands him to get to his room immediately. The next morning, she took out the thorny stick, pierced it into his hand, wrapped their hair around it, and snapped it. Alex's parents took up the cutlery and started to hit themselves, and after a while, she stopped and told Alex not to tell anyone about her or his parents. From that very day, he went to school using the school bus and walked back home every day. When he returns, he will take up sealed food and feed his parents and also take care of all the house errands. This continued until one day when Alex came back, he saw Gladys lying down weak and tired just as she was. She thought the strength of his Alex parents might make her strong for a long time, but that isn't working. He told Alex to get an object belonging to his classmates for him. This will help her and set his parents free. The next day at school, he scanned for what he could pick up. When it was break time, he sneaked back into his classroom and pulled out all the name tags belonging to his classmates except his. Justine noticed his absence and went after him, but before she could, he had already taken all the tags. That night, she carried out his dark magic with the object she got. After being said and done, she rang the bell. All the kids woke up and ran toward her in the same manner, spreading their hands out wide. The next day, parents, police, and the community noticed that 17 kids had gone missing. On the current day, Alex returned from school as he used to, only to find the cops' vehicle packed. He went inside and was frightened by the two men standing still as statues. Gladys told him they will be leaving tomorrow and also not to step over the salt on the floor. In a moment, Griff and Justine arrived. They noticed Paul step out of the door and went back in. They got out of their vehicle and went right in. Graf noticed the salt on the floor, but before he could tell Justine to halt, she walked over it, and they were attacked by Paul and James. Graf tries to fight his way out, but the more he does, the stronger James becomes while Justine fights for her life. He tries to calm Paul down, yet he grabs her tight, trying to strangle her. With no option left, she reached for his gun and shot him in the head. She hurried and took out James, also. Meanwhile, Alex stepped over the salt separating his parents, and they immediately went after him. He locked himself inside, but their strength turned the doors apart. On the other hand, Graf went to the basement in search of his kid, Matthew, but he was possessed by Gladys. He rushes outside and grabs Justine and starts strangling her. At the same time, Alex ran to Gladys's room, took the thorny stick, pierced his finger, wrapped her hair around it, then snapped it. Immediately, all the kids ran towards her. She sensed the danger and ran off as well, but the kids moved after her. On the run, she ran through neighbors' apartments in the street, but the kids went after her furiously until one laid hold of her. The rest joined in and overwhelmed her. They tore her in pieces. The moment it happened, Graf realized himself Alex and his parents had stopped attacking. Graf walks up to the scene, takes up his kid, and leaves. Do you think Alex knew more than he let on, or was he just another victim? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more recaps.